you're looking for a way to power up your nutrients with a plant-based protein powder, then raw vegan plant-based protein is the perfect choice. This vegan protein is packed with essential nutrients to help you stay energized and healthy. With plant-based protein powder becoming increasingly popular amongst health-conscious individuals, it's no surprise that raw vegan plant-based proteins has become a leader in the industry. Whether you're an athlete or just looking to increase your daily protein intake, this vegan protein powder can help you reach your goals. Visit rawvegan.com. Again, rawvegan.com. The Second Wind Sports Media and DMV boxing legend would like to introduce to you our new sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, El Paso Mexican Restaurant, located at 6151 Richmond Highway, Alexandria, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have El Paso Mexican Restaurant. Also, if you're looking to pregame every fight night, amateur or pros, come out to El Paso Restaurant. They will guarantee you a discount. All you have to do is say you that DMV boxing legend and the Second Wind Sports Media sent you, you will get a discount. Welcome to the Second Wind Sports Media. I am your host, Rashid Hammond, and today we have a very special guest in the building. We have no other than DC DMV boxing legend and author Cornell Evans. How's it going, champ?
I'm fine, brother. How are you?
Man, it's all as well, man. It's an honor to have you on here. I was looking on your social media and I was seeing all amazing things that you got going on with coming from this thing of ours, which is boxing.
Oh yeah.
And to pivot into other lanes and show your creativity and talent in other avenues. I said, I gotta get my big brother up on here, man, and share this, man.
I appreciate that.
Yes, indeed, man. So when did this journey of boxing? We're gonna start with that first, and then we're gonna go into the author side of things.
Okay.
When did the journey of being a fighter start for you?
When did it start or stop?
Start.
Start.
Started.
Oh, started. It
Yeah.
started back in 76. I was 11 years old. I grew up over in 6 of Brandywine. So
Okay.
you had Dana Hollins was a boxer. He was a welterweight of number 11. You had Anthony Jones, was fight 125, battleweight, stayed around the corner from me. So I was real tight with Anthony Jones' brother, and I used to see him going to the gym, shadow boxing in his room stuff. So I was interested.
Mhm.
So Dana stayed down across the street from me. So Dana took me up there with Anthony Jones and Sneed. Coach Sneed was the coach. Let me tell you a story about him too.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
Coach Sneed was a coach, and that's where I started up number 11.
Number 11.
76, 77. Then we moved. We rented a house on Brandywine and moved up there behind Iverson Mall.
Okay.
So I met William Peanut Butler, who was fighting up Hillcrest.
Okay.
He stayed across the street from me. So me just transitioning from Southeast going out there.
Right.
It was kind of difficult getting to know somebody out there for me coming from where I was coming from.
Exactly.
One. So I got to know him, and he took me to the gym. I had moved around in maybe 2 weeks, and I met Mr. McCann, and it was Mr. McCann and Gator. It was another trainer there back. This was before Mr. Tom came.
Okay.
And Burgess. It was Gator.
Okay.
And Peanut took me up there, and the rest is history. I went on start. And then we moved back to Brandywine Street a year later, and everybody at number 11 wanted me back up there. And as a matter of fact, Flip was up there at the time too.
Okay.
And I chose to stay up Hillcrest, even though we moved back over Southview in the house.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So that's how I got started.
What was the fight scene like back in those days? coming up, man? Well, how was it to you, man?
You just went out, Rashid. Say it again.
Can you hear me? I said, what was the fight scene like in those days, back in those days?
Oh, fire. A lot of electricity. You got to remember back then, it was all guns down back then.
Right,
So you had to rumble in Washington back then. You had to use these back then.
right,
So a lot of guys gravitated to the gym to learn how to fight. And believe it or not, you might have had like maybe half the dudes from Washington never boxed in the gym before in their life could rumble,
right,
can go, never
right,
never been in the ring. So it was that kind of era back then where you had to have your knuckle game on blast back then. You know what I mean? That's how it was back then. You can get punched in the mouth,
right,
but you end up going, getting something to eat right after that, and y'all settling your beef. That's how it was back then. But all that had us gravitating to the gym. Everybody wanted to go to a gym
right.
back then. And then they went from wanting to learn how to fight to take it to the street to end up being turn into a career. That's how it was back then. And a lot of people that's probably listening in can vouch for it as well. How it was back then. I mean, boxing was big back then. All the boxing gyms were crowded. All the like fights at Hillcrest Field, any of the tournaments in Washington was big when they were outside or at a venue like Hillcrest itself. It was exciting. It was just exciting as the NBA finals.
So how would you say boxing what has it done for you in your life? How has boxing changed or helped benefit your life?
Oh wow. Now you got to remember how it was back then for one. And when I transitioned over to the ring, my father had just left. He just
Okay.
left the household, me and my brothers and my mother. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So the gym was my father. You know what I'm saying? So it it
Most
it, it
definitely.
was it was it was there was a lot of households going through that same thing. If you went to the gym, you realize they was going through some type of pain at home.
Right,
You know, so it really played a major part in your life as a fighter back then. You really was. You got a lot of respect, and you got tried a lot too.
right, right, right.
You know
Most
what I mean?
definitely.
But it was okay. You get a
Right.
bust of lip, you going about your day.
Joe,
But
no.
it really gave you some structure, and it still holds a lot of weight in my life today. Just looking back at the younger fighters, the ones I've trained as amateur, or even being with the pro camp, that you're aware of, that it's motive. It keeps my motor running. You know what I mean? I'm always looking at clips and everything, and I end up developing a newsletter called Left Hook behind my experiences in the ring and those before me that I was selling back where I was at one time in a decimal situation. But I kept people updated on boxing by my knowledge of it with this newsletter that I put out every week
Wow.
called Left Hook. And I plan to
O-
do something with that later on down the line. We'll talk about that too.
Okay. Most definitely. Most definitely.
But yeah, it plays. I mean, as you can see, you see all the older trainers that's in Washington right now, we're still involved.
Yes, indeed.
That's how much of an impact it has made in our lives. If you fought amateur and became an amateur Hall of Famer, or you turned pro and got a belt from Washington. We had a lot of title holders here, bro. A lot of fighters, not just in DC, but DMV himself can rumble. We fight
Right.
here. We fight here.
Yeah,
Philly
right.
knows it. Baltimore knows
They
it. New
know it.
York
They
knows it.
know it.
LA knows it. We're gonna bring that noise. They we bring at the House State Fairs, or wherever we go, we bring. Rashid, you was there.
Yes, indeed.
You brought the noise wherever you went.
That's indeed.
You know what I'm saying? You was knocking grown men on their ass. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we gonna bring the noise. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? So
indeed, brother.
DC's a fight city. DC's a fighting city, man. It's known. Look how many gyms we have here. You know, it's just that if we can get the youth. I don't want to really get into this, but if you want to get the youth need to put the guns down, go to the goddamn gym.
Yes, indeed,
Change your
man.
life. Get some structure, man. I came from a hell of a household too. Me and my brothers had to
Right,
raise ourselves from the curb. I was 12,
right,
but I chose
right.
the gym. I
You
chose the
chose the
gym.
gym. That's
I
right.
did. I didn't fall into the streets so late on in life, and I learned from that. Came back and ain't missed a beat. You know,
Now,
but. Mm-hmm.
the Cornell, do you think there are less gyms than they were back in your days
Mm.
than today?
Well, you have a lot of gyms here now, but let's say for instance, you had Eastern Branch Boxing Club, right?
Okay.
Eastern Branch Boxing Club had two fighters versus like all the gym. You might have had a gym that had maybe two fighters. You might have had a gym that had one fighter
Right.
back then.
Back then.
Right. That's how it was versus how they have four gyms now. Like Ali Dunlap, he had two fighters, as far as I know, from Eastern Branch. And
Okay.
you had it's a difference, but they brought a lot of
It-
thunder with
right,
those
right. With
fighters.
those
A
two
lot
fighters.
of thunder.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You had the
Right.
Humes brothers, you had Ralph and Sam Humes. Their father trained them, and they was national champions.
Right.
So that's the difference between the gyms back then and the gyms now. And to
Now.
answer your question, um, it's about equal. It's just that you I can't say that. You
Yeah.
you you have you have a lot of you have
You trying to be nice, man.
yeah, yeah.
You
Uh,
trying.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. So you know, it's as far as the capacity and everything and the fighters of the day, Rashid, I'm just really uh
You trying, brother.
the competition back then,
Yeah. Was serious.
it was never a dull moment.
Right.
Never a dull moment
Right.
in the ring
Right.
at all. Let me just say that.
Right.
There was no floaters. There wasn't three fighters that was floaters and one headbanger.
That's fact. That's facts,
I'm
man.
talking about down from Lil Mark. I just teased Lil Mark. I seen him last month with his daughter. He was getting something to eat. I just teased his daughter and told him how he used to be fighting 45 pounds. I was fighting 95 pounds back then. And he
Right.
was fighting 45 pounds in golden gloves. How he was swinging, just duck, pop, 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 and just duck, pop, 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 and just
Right.
duck.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and it's a pleasure to be able to do that with fighters back then. And me and him was talking about today
Right.
briefly. You know what I mean? So, I just talked to Sean Johnson earlier.
Right.
His impact on the youth is it kind of keeps me balanced when it comes to the newer generation of fighters to see him as a trainer, train a young man for 3 years, a little boy.
Right.
And Shorty got popped. He started fighting next year.
Wow. You're
We
gonna be
just
nice.
and no offense to no coaches, but we just need more coaches. I'm gonna put Sean Johnson out there because he's,
Yeah.
in my eyes, one of the best in the city.
Always been a leader, man.
You know what
Always
I'm saying?
been
So
a,
we
a
just need more
general.
coaches who really got that umph, that bump in them to transform a fighter into a fighter.
Real talk.
That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Don't push them and get them in there for tournament's sake and say that you have a gym or you have a fighter. Get him right, and that's what Sean is doing. He's coasting Shorty. It's been 3 years he's been training this young man.
That's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. You build a fighter, you teach him the knowledge of the sport, and then you give him that shot. And like got that young guy, and I know Sean knows the sport because he been on all levels.
Right. Exactly.
So
You
he,
know,
so you know, and that's why it's more it's needed more guys like him to give the youth that wealth of knowledge.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
like yourself as well to give that youth the wealth of knowledge. And because like you say, the old days, right? We talking about the old days, you know, remember the Hillcrest, and you would look on your sheet the week before, and you would look at the list of names that'll be stacked on that sheet.
Goodness gracious.
Man, Lord, I still can't
Make you
find a tournament to equal that place still to the day. I don't
no.
care if I went to the Nationals, it still was nothing like
It's
Hillcrest.
nothing like the bond.
Wasn't like the
You know,
bond, man.
we're alumni. We're not just talking because we're alumni. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
people in the DMV know about Hillcrest.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know, they know about Hillcrest. I
That's
remember
right.
sweeping foam cups up in tape shit bags at night
At
after
night
having a
after
tough
it
ass
ended.
fight.
Yeah, we had to stick around. You ain't
They had
never
to stick
lied.
around because Mr. Cal, y'all ain't going away. Clean up under the bleachers.
Clean up under there, under the bleachers.
I
Yep.
mean, until the spotless. Then he'll
Yep.
mop the whole gym.
That's real talk.
Remember that? He'll
Yes,
mop the whole
indeed.
gym
The
after we
whole
cleaned it up
gym. Yep.
after it had been packed for about
Packed.
4 hours.
Man. Most
I'm talking
electrifying
the
place in
bathroom
boxing.
and everything. Everything better
Everything.
be spotless.
That's right. That's right.
Then he put the big chain on the door.
At the end of the day, there it go. There it go. Closed down after that. Yeah,
Closed
Mac
down.
had that key. Mac wanted to close it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mac loved to close it down and open it.
But overall in Washington, I think we're doing pretty good as
Yeah,
far
the
as
youngins. Yeah,
the youngers. Yeah, I think
yeah,
I've
they
seen
vicious.
some youngers that got some thunder, man. I was like,
They
okay,
vicious. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
some youngins nice,
The
man.
gloves is going on now too.
I'm gonna come to the one next week. This weekend, I'm gonna try to make it to
Right.
that this weekend. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Coach Baker told me, it was pretty good. You know what I
It
mean?
was.
So, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
he
I'm
said
gonna
it's
I'm gonna
pretty
come
good.
through. I'm
Yeah,
gonna think that somebody said the bond was the greatest. Yes, it
the
was, bro.
greatest.
Kirk Stevens, no, that's real talk, brother.
Yep, the greatest.
The greatest, man.
And that was back then. Back then, that's when I was fighting. I was a little boy when I first started out down there. I was 12, and
Okay.
I was and I remember Sugar Ray coming through there, Kenny
You
Bazemore,
got to see the best of the
Frank
best, brother.
Burgess, Roy
Ooh,
Sapp, Mark
ooh.
Pringle, Marty Wright, Floyd. No, I mean just Hillcrest. You might go on the days that we were off of school. We used to go up there because we knew the pros were being there with Magruder
Okay.
early. And
Yeah.
if you was a member, he'll let you come in there if he knew you.
Right.
And just to see, that as a 12 and 13-year-old, to see the pros in their form and the training gear that they had on and the regiments and the calisthenics, man, just to watch, man, was something I would never forget. I would
That's
never
indeed.
forget. And it came out of Hillcrest Gym.
Most electrifying place on earth when it came to boxing, brother, for
Yeah, man.
sure. So,
A lot of fight cards from Hillcrest.
lot of
Lots
them.
of them. Even though I
Now
can't find none of mine, but
let's talk about your new endeavors
okay,
now. And a lot of people probably don't know, but you also an author.
right.
And you wrote many books. You wrote a book, Still Standing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it, brother.
Okay. Okay, well, Still Standing is a follow-up of my very first book, and is been getting a lot of ink for a while. It was cold and hot and cold, but now it's circulated through 2,500 distributors around the globe.
Whoa.
Um, it was hard getting with this publishing company 16 years ago. I'm 3 books with them, but This one here is kind of standing the test of time. It's been pulled overseas. Um, I've been invited to a lot of book signings, like at University of Berkeley, California, um, Florida A&M. You know, a couple colleges, local colleges, a couple publishing companies been calling me pertaining to the book. It's surprising to me, to be honest
Right.
with you, because what I went through to try to get published. I
Right.
went through hell in like 4 or 5 uh, publishing companies just to get published.
Wow.
So right now, the longevity of me sticking with it is finally paying off.
What
Um,
inspired you to go into writing? What inspired you to do that? To go
well,
into it?
that's a good question, Rashid. I got into a funk, man. I had gotten to a situation, man. It was so dark,
Okay.
and I, I had to sit on it. I had to
Right.
take it on the chin.
Right.
And in the meantime, a lot of people on the streets, a lot of people that was where I was kind of like, man, your story, you got this vicious story. You know what I mean? It's about betrayal and the whole nine, how you come up from the darkness to the light. And I came home free, but I was in a lot of pain. So I put the pen to the paper to relieve the pain
Right.
of the losses had took, and the mistake that I made was so stupid, and I had a lot of resentment. You know, I was gone a while, and people kept saying, "You need to write your story, bro. You need to write your story." And I would put the pen to the paper, put the pain into to the paper through the pen,
Wow. Wow.
and it just grew. I went from 1 chapter to 3, 3 chapters to 5, and I just kept going. And then I would rewrite. It took me not for this one, but the biography of a Mental Muscle, my first book, took me like 4 years to write it because there was so much pain involved in that book that I was breaking PCs, throwing the PCs, catching tantrums, crying, and I was going
Hmm.
through it because I had to resurrect a lot of pain to write the book. I had to resurrect a lot of pain to write the book, and uh, it was difficult. I shed a lot of tears. A lot of sleepless nights,
Okay.
and I got through it. So that's what motivated me to write it. The pain that I had endured for so long, and I just released it through writing, becoming an it stumbled up on me. It ain't nothing that I planned. It stumbled
Right.
up on me, and it just grew from there.
Um, what advice would you give a young youthful person that you can spot going through a similar situation as you've been through in the past? How would you tell them that they can also overcome those dark days and moments?
Well, I have done a lot of public speaking since the books has been out. Several high
Okay.
schools, colleges, halfway houses, uh, uh, dysfunctional use, and I tell them, you do not want to go down this dark path. It's very hard to get out of. The consequence, it may look good in the beginning. You toting your pistols, you're doing what you're doing on the street. The consequences are so severe. And I try to stress that with not only youth, even some people my age
Right.
who still stuck on stupid.
Right.
And I
Right.
say, man, look, man, you don't want to, you done already gave them 30.
Right.
What are you doing, Slim?
Right.
So it goes for us too.
Right.
And sometimes I gotta look myself. I'm not perfect. I ain't
Right.
gonna sit here, so I
100%.
ain't gonna sit here and bullshit you.
Right. Right.
It's many times I gotta look myself in the mirror and say, don't you fucking do it.
Exactly. Real
Don't
talk.
you fucking do it.
Right.
It's a struggle, bro, every day.
Real. Real
You
talk.
know what I'm saying? But I'm able to cope with it deal with it and let it go.
Right.
So this is what I tell people when I talk to them, even with the youth, man. Look, I've been where you are. You
Right.
think I'm not still being tempted?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Please, I like money.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Come
Right. Me
on.
too,
You know
bro.
what I'm
Me
saying?
too,
So I'm
man.
just
Me
saying
too.
I know the consequences though.
Of it. Yeah.
Good God, man.
Yeah.
It'll break you. It'll break you.
Right.
And anybody listening know I'm telling the truth.
See, a lot of people don't understand that on that end is just as addictive as being on the end of the side of the person that's receiving it.
Ain't no question.
It's just addictive. That fast
It is
money
addictive.
is addictive, man.
It's
It's the
way worse than
same.
heroin, right?
It is, man. You ain't never lie. The
Way worse.
limelight, the money, just the
Come on,
rush of
man.
flipping something, turning something
Yeah.
from this into double. It makes you so. But like you say, the consequences on the other end of that is more devastating, not just for you, but for the parents of yours or your
Oh,
significant
it
other,
affects everybody. I've
everybody.
had good friends of mine I've called when I got caught up and they were crying on the phone for me
Right,
because they knew what I was up against.
right.
They were shedding tears on the phone. Slim, man. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
this real, Jack.
yeah,
So I'm saying, that motivated me and still motivates me because it's a coping mechanism for me to continue to write.
right.
And it's a coping mechanism to me. Like I have public speaking at the high school next month,
Okay,
and I had to go from telling them about what I went through and the prizes that I had obtained to just leaving that out and
right.
telling them the consequences of the breakaway because
There
they
it is.
Q&A, that's all they wanted to know. What would you toting?
Right.
What would
What
that?
you was
They
at? How much
glorified.
you
I was like,
had?
hold, you know what? Let me
How much
switch my
weight
script
you
up.
had?
Let me flip my script up. Let me flip the script up.
There you go.
Let me flip the script up. And that's what I do now. I let them know, look, you don't want to do this. You see the black I got on? That's what life you're gonna be living. You're gonna be in the dark.
That's right.
Ask me how I know. And no one's gonna care. So guess what? Change your life. If you're not gonna get a career, go to the gym. Do something with your life. Get some structure. So this is what it motivates me to write. And to continue and to ask about to tell other guys who want to write. I usher a lot of guys on who want to write. You know what I mean? Who really want to be an author. Hey, I show them the way.
Right,
I don't grab their hand, but I show them the way. And you got to go through what I went through, bro. I went through 5 publishing companies.
right,
I flew all around the United States. I flew here, I flew there, got turned down, spending money on hotels and transportation, and get to the office after the meeting. Then I get a call when I go home saying they didn't want it.
wow.
Maybe it was too vulgar, or there's many facets of why, that I'm not even gonna mention.
Right.
That you should know where I'm at with this.
Most
Why?
definitely. Most
But
definitely. You ain't
by the
it wasn't
grace of God, He opened a door for me that couldn't nobody shut.
yes, indeed. So, um, what would you tell how to write a book? What does it take to complete it?
That's a good question. That's a real good question because what I did take while when I went to college, what I did take was doing one of my curriculums was the creative writing class,
Okay.
and that helped me out so much. I never knew I took it just to be taken as a curriculum. I never knew I'd end up using that. It's
Okay.
funny how
Okay.
God works, man. I'm telling
Yes,
you.
indeed.
So
Yes,
so
indeed.
so the creative writing class that I took, it basically talks about how what you see, like I see you now. I'm on DMV Let's Boxing Legends podcast with Rashid, and we're discussing my book material. And he's been around doing this for a while. And I'm just a pleasure to be with this brother because he's an ex-fighter like myself. You write how you see it.
I got you.
Once you learn how to write how you see it, man, you know what? I'm gonna go to IHOP today, man. I think I'm gonna order this. Just the way you talking is how you write. Write it into reality.
Right.
This is what I tell them.
Okay.
This is what I tell them. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And and it works. It worked for me. You know what I mean? It works for me. But it's a flip side to that too. I'm talking about. It's
Okay.
a flip side to that too.
I
There's
got you.
power. There's power in the tongue.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to what happened to me when it came to being an author too.
Oh,
There was the ink in the face, and I'm all over the place, and
right, right.
Cape Town, South Africa, calling me. We got your book over here available for sale.
Wow.
But there was a flip side, Rashid,
Uh-huh.
that I experienced in my life being an author, and
Okay.
yeah, if I could elaborate on it.
Please do.
Okay, so just say the power's in the tongue. There's life and death is in the power of the tongue. So what I was writing was pretty much letting people know you could use your mental muscle. Was my alter ego that kept me straight through my trials and tribulations. He would pull me up. He would jump out my body and look at me and say, "Man, smack the shit out of me," and say, "Straighten your ass up."
That's right.
So after I wrote it, I was getting a lot of ink about, man, just a tear jerker. Hey, bro, this deep here. Man, this helped, man. You got me second guessing on some moves that's full of wickedry. So about 6 months into it, it was like the powers that be,
You
right?
got low.
It seems like the
There you go.
powers you got the powers that be said, "Oh, oh, you want to be an author? Oh, you want to tell everybody how to duck this wickedry? Hmm. Let me see how much mental muscle you got now." I got hit from every angle, bro, in life.
Mm.
Oh, I thought you could handle it. Oh, what about this? I'm talking about people bum rushing the books, all kind of crazy stuff. In my spirit told me, you know what? Because you put it out there that you was combating the powers that be to get
Right.
people on the straight and narrow.
Right.
You're going through what pastors go through.
Right. Facts, brother.
So it
Right.
was deep. It got deeper, Rashid,
Right.
to where I ain't even want to write no more. I said, man, I
Right.
talked all this crazy stuff up. You know what I mean? So you got to be. I learned something from that.
Right.
I learned something from that. I was drawing in some crazy energy.
R-
So I had contacted a couple authors, some big known authors.
Okay.
I had contacted them. I mean, major motion picture authors. I contacted a few of them by email and asked them, did they? They said, yeah, the power's in the tongue.
That's real
He
talk.
said, they was pretty much saying the movies that's being made off the books, we've talked them up. You see how the world is now.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, whoa. So I learned something from that. Watch what I say, even when I'm writing.
That's real.
Be careful,
Real talk.
because you can manifest something that you'll be battling your whole career as an author.
Right.
So I chose to go from that to the birds and the bees. Times are winding down.
Right.
Get your life right.
Right.
Stay calm. Be cognitive. You don't have to fight every battle.
Right.
You know how many times I've turned my shoulder on a dude? You know how many
Man.
times lately?
Man. Me too,
Slim,
brother.
you got it. My bag. I was making a right. I see you want to go around me, man. You go right ahead, though.
Me too,
What?
brother.
What you say? What?
Listen, man.
What? Hey, Slim, look, go ahead. I
Me
tell
too.
the calmer you are, the better you can stay alive.
That's real,
Okay.
man. The ego will crush us sometimes,
Yes, it
man.
will, man. Yes, it will,
Yeah.
man. And it's crushing us too.
I was telling my kids this, brother. I was stating to them, like, listen, one of the things that black men have to master in this day and time is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I was revealing the story to them, the situation that took place in my neighborhood many years ago with two thorough dudes, man. They had their words or whatever, and it got a little hectic. I say the ego will sometimes cause you to either lose your life or lose your life. And I mean that. I say the person on the side of that pistol and the person on the other end of the pistol receiving the exchange, they both lose. One gonna do 1,000 years, and the other's gonna be eternally here no more.
Mm.
Just based upon an ego of,
Mm.
man, you on the block, you need to get off the block. You stepped on my shoes, you need
Mm-hmm.
to apologize. You looked at my girl, and it's so many different scenarios, man. You owe me $1,000. I need that by next week, or I'm gonna knock your head off. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
all of those things caused plenty of my friends 30 years. You gotta remember, I come from the super predator era, right?
Yes, Lord. Yes, you do.
And I got a homie. And my best friend, man. Everybody know him in the feds. Uh uh he just touched down a few weeks ago, and I haven't seen him since 1997.
Mm.
He went in at 16 years old, just touching down, right?
Mm.
And just to see how the world swallowed him like that and just just brought him back to society at that young age where we was definitely targeted by the powers that be back in
Mm-hmm.
those times.
Mm-hmm.
From the streets to the hustling to the gunplay, and for him to just get back home was to show you um how uh it's important to have emotional intelligence,
Very important.
you know, and
Very
like you
important.
said, and see how you was like, I mean, it do test you, and then you got people that's you, and I'm sure was a lot of envy with that book as well from how
Oh, that
uh
that 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 came with that was just the icing on the cake.
right,
That was just the icing on the cake. And a lot of authors told me, the famous authors that I told I contacted said, "Why do you think I write in Cancun? Why do you think I live in the Appalachian Mountains?"
that's real talk.
One of the most famous authors who got a rack of movies, I can't say his name.
Okay.
He told me he lives in the Appalachian Mountains. He don't want to be in no part of society because he
Wow.
writes
Right.
and he has no distractions. He
Wow.
said he don't even watch TV.
Wow.
And I found myself, I thought that I would never get to that. I
Right.
was like, nah, I'm from the city. I'm
I
not
need to write in the
I'm
city,
from the
right?
goddamn woods. What you talking about?
Right, right,
I'm going to Eddie Lennox, man.
right.
You understand?
Right,
So,
right.
but guess what? About 6 years ago,
Yeah.
it happened to me.
Wow.
Went down to Ray Cabins, got a cabin.
Okay.
Went to out Delaware coastal.
Okay.
Got something. Go right, man. That's where I'm at now. I mean,
How was that?
I'm not seen
How was
because
that feeling being able
uh,
to create like that? How was that feeling?
what's that?
Creating in peace like that. How was the difference
Oh
between that and then the other way?
man. I aired out. You know, I got closer to God. You know, I'm talking to Him every day. You'd be surprised. You can get the ancestors that even show up. You know what I mean?
Right.
You'd be surprised what
Wow.
happens when you by yourself and you in the spirit. You'd be surprised.
Wow.
So I've really gotten tuned. You know, I'm kind of off the grid in a
Right.
sense. You know what I mean? And I love it. The phone don't ring anymore. You know, my kids are grown. I watch my
Right.
grandkids.
That's right.
I look, granddad, we gone for a week.
Right,
Peace. I'll
right.
see y'all later. You know, I'm in and out the city. I don't be seen no more. And
That's what's up.
it's naturally happening. It's something I initiated.
That's
It
what's up,
just
brother.
people fell off.
So
And so I
let's
went
talk
on and
about,
took advantage of it, and I go into solitude, man, and write, man. That's what I be.
man, that's how you do it, brother. That's the peace within, man, manifested without, man. You know,
Yeah,
that's the beautiful thing.
yeah.
Now let's talk about, you was telling me something, man, brother. You had some surprises, man. Uh
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man. Let's talk
This,
about it, brother.
yeah.
I'm anxious to hear about it.
Okay, well, there was a movie that was created by Randall Lawrence, film director from DC, and as well as he's an actor. He's been
Okay,
in a lot of. I don't want to put him out there,
okay,
for legal reasons, but he's a major actor. He's from DC.
okay,
So he came to me in '08, was like, I heard you got a nice book, man. At the time he was in The Wire.
okay.
So he was opening a film company. We talked about it. And fast forward, he did a movie called Second Chance on the book. It came out 217, the Angelica Film Centers, the whole nine.
Okay.
So I get a call from a major film company last summer
Wow.
who was very interested in my material. So we talked. Their team talked to my team, and we worked the numbers out. I got a call a month ago. They signed for a new film that's going to be in production in the summer 2025.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
Which
The,
book? Which one of the books is
the
that?
biography of a mental muscle. They redoing the movie.
Oh wow.
They're going to redo the movie on a high level. You know what I mean? They are the kind of company. I'm just going to put it to you this way. They right now filming a major motion picture with Alec Baldwin
Wow.
right now. So it's I'm just looking forward to it. I'm taking it day by day,
Yes, indeed,
like I
man.
did the first film, but this one is on a whole nother level.
Whole nother level.
So I'm just taking it in right now, and like I said, just gonna remain in solitude. I'm gonna stay grounded. I'm gonna stay 10 toes down, Rashid. You know how we do,
Man,
bro.
yes, indeed, brother. You got
Ain't a
no
whole
choice.
after
That's the only way you know how to
that.
do it,
Ain't
brother.
a whole after that. Ain't nothing
Yes,
gonna have me
indeed.
all up
That's
in the
it. That's
clouds
you.
at all. I've been
That's
there
all
already.
you, brother.
You know what I'm saying? You'll be up here one day and be down here the next. You
Yes,
hear me? So
indeed. You know it.
I stay right here.
There it
I don't
is.
care what's going on.
That's right.
But I'm looking forward to it because, just let other people know that was in my situation, uh, that you could do it because I did it.
Yes, indeed.
I came from nothing, all the way from zero, zilch. Everything was taken from me, down to my socks.
Wow.
So I'm appreciating what's happening right now. It's due. It's been 17 years as an author, and it's due. It's. I mean, I put in enough work. I got another book, How to Eat to Live and Beyond. It's going to entail some things. I had some internal things going on. I changed my eating habits, and
Okay.
I'm still living.
Yes, indeed,
So
brother.
I wrote about that. That'll be out the end of the summer. How to Eat to Live and Beyond. It's a short story
Okay.
with illustrations of what I ate.
That's okay.
I'm gonna put it out there, Rashid, because I know you're a health nut too.
Yes, indeed, brother.
All steamed foods,
Okay. Okay.
no grease.
No grease. Stayed away from it.
Steamed foods, canola oil,
Okay.
green leaf, lettuce. Real green leaf changed a life. Real green tea
Facts.
leaf changed a life.
Facts.
So
Facts, brother.
this is stuff that I'm talking about. You know, uh, to keep you alive, man.
Most definitely, man.
We our downfall is black men, man. We don't go to the hospital, man,
Yeah, brother.
and we don't eat right.
That's the thing we
We'll be
don't do
eating
right.
right one minute, then mom put them hog maws on, and I'm cheating today. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You cheating every Sunday.
Hey,
You
you
cheating every
know,
Sunday, man. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right. And that was the culture. That's how we did it, man. It was th- I just lost one of my clients of the past she was of the boot camp class, man.
Mm.
She died of colon cancer. and
I'm
she
sorry
had
to hear that.
3 sons, man, that was teenagers, and one of them was like about 10. I
Mm,
felt so bad for those kids because
mm,
they had to watch their mother suffer,
right,
and now they have to fend for them. They don't act. They have their grandmothers there, but you know how mothers' covenants is much different because of the. And she was a hands-on parent, man. So
right.
health is wealth, man. Like we were
Yeah,
just
health
talking
as
about the
well.
streets. We was talking about the streets, but I had a picture with a lot of my friends. Right, it was about 10
Right.
of us. 4 of them got killed to the streets. 3 of them got killed to the health, due to health.
Mm, mm.
So if you look at that, look at those numbers, man, and just see how, man, we got so many ways that we gonna have to start focusing on that health and focusing on getting out them streets, man.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. You know why? And I say this in all reality. Why the gym is so important because we're losing, Rashid.
Right, right,
You know, and I try
right.
my best to put that in my material about how we need to win.
Facts.
We can win, but it's going to take us. And I'd rather speak about it than write about it
There you go.
when it come to us.
To
You
us, yeah.
know, I wear a lot of boxing paraphernalia around when I am around from
Okay.
DC to out to other states to
Right,
let people know, man, go to the gym, man.
right,
It taught me a lot.
right.
It taught me, and I write about. I talk about my boxing career, and then when I fought overseas in the military, all that stuff in the biography of mental muscle.
Okay.
So I tell people about that as well. All that was a part of my forte.
Cornell,
We
I think
like what you do on your platform right now is very important to people that's listening, because some of the parents got their kids listening too.
that's
Your
right.
platform is important. You're drawing
Appreciate
fighters, Rashid.
appreciate it, brother.
You know what I'm saying? You drawing
Yes,
fight. You
indeed.
drawing a lot of people, man. You doing this is great. This
Right,
platform is a motivation to us that we can do what you're doing.
right,
Some youth are watching you right now that's in the ring that want to do what you're doing. And
right,
you're setting you setting the tone, bro.
right.
This
Appreciate
how
it,
this
man.
how serious I take what we're doing. You
Right.
understand? And it's being productive. I take that serious because it's needed.
It is.
Without this platform, come on, where would we be?
That's real.
This is one of the biggest platforms and what the biggest boxing platforms in Washington.
Facts.
Without it, where would we be? No offense
Facts.
to the other ones
No
that's in the
offense to them.
city.
I love them all, man.
Love them all, but I gotta
Love them
remember
all.
I gotta keep it a buck.
Right.
So you continue doing what you doing, bro. By you allow me on here. See, we working. This is hand in hand.
Real talk.
See, iron sharp as iron.
Facts, brother. And that was one of the reasons I said I gotta get brother Cornell on here because I want to show the youth too, and what you're doing now while we're talking is showing the youth that there's life after boxing and that we have many other talents after we take those gloves off and continue living life. You got a lot of fighters that still struggling with how to transition from the boxing world, and it's one time when they get older or when boxing no longer benefits them to
Right.
transitioning into the other avenues. And that's why it's Cornell that I post motivational videos
Of
on the
course.
boxing platform
Of course.
because I want the youth and the fighters to listen and listen, all of those things that I'm sharing is going to be required for you to use in the ring and in real life.
Yes.
So I make that my business to keep putting that on there to the boxing platform because I was once on that other end, and motivation is in discipline, which is more important than motivation, it's a necessity to becoming a great fighter, great parent, and a great
Great
man
person.
and a great
As a
person.
man. Great man.
Exactly.
That's what you said it right,
Yes,
brother.
indeed, brother.
Because look what it's done for you.
Right,
Look what it's done for your brother.
right.
Look what your dad, look what he left behind.
Yes, indeed, brother.
Huh? And y'all representing, man, on a whole nother level. He's proud of y'all.
Yes, indeed.
You know, like my mother proud of what I'm doing. She's
Yes,
probably saying
indeed.
she didn't have a say, you finally got your shit together, huh?
That's right, 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 right.
God
You
rest
got
her
it.
soul, but I'm just saying, you know,
Right.
they still watching us.
Of course, brother.
So,
Of
you know,
course.
and
And
they're
they
gonna hold us accountable.
yes,
You
indeed.
know, so I'm also proud of your platform.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. I definitely do.
And
And you
also,
know,
what I wanted to say is that, you know, I was telling you about the publishing company that I
okay,
had up before the pandemic. I had the staff, the whole nine. I had a couple of
okay,
authors I was going to sign. So I lost all the staff during the pandemic. As you can see, the website is still up for this. Is
yeah,
called Shakur Book Publishing.
okay,
Shakur means fighter and warrior in Africa.
okay,
So um, soon it may be by the fall, I will have the publishing company up, and I don't want to talk too fast, but I will
okay,
start signing local authors.
okay.
That's my. I put you this way. That's my goal,
Say the
to grab the
website.
authors that's going through trying to get published. And I already know the struggle with that with
Right, right,
us.
right.
Yeah,
Send the website. Say the website on here, so or email or any way they can contact.
I send it to you.
Okay,
As a matter of fact, I send it to you. I just text it to you,
okay,
and then you just pull it up on Google. You hit it, and it just comes straight up.
okay. And what I'll do is I'll put it in the on here on the description so people can also click it and inspiring book writers and authors will be able to connect with
Well,
you
I
and
mean,
you.
well, let me say this. Let me say this on this
Okay,
platform. They can look at it, but don't send no material yet because I'm not even nowhere near. I gotta
I
go back.
got
I
you.
gotta find a new office.
I understand,
I gotta
brother.
hire staff. You
I
know, and,
got
and,
you.
and
I
what
got you.
happened? People start flooding me,
Right,
and
I
I
got you.
can't do nothing right now.
I
You know what I mean?
got
I'm
you.
just
I
putting it
tell them
out there that in the future
be looking
that it's
forward in
going to
the
be up and
future.
running, and I will. It's going to happen. It's
Okay,
going to happen. I was rolling. It was just jumping off. I had an office over in Mount Pleasant. That's where my office was, and
okay.
the pandemic hit, man, a month later, and that was it. But
It tore everybody off, man.
that's in the near future. That's going to happen.
Okay.
It's
So
going to
those
be
that's
up and
on
running
here
once again.
be looking for that in the future. In the future. So yeah, brother. I wanted to. I thought you. It's it. Whenever it happens, brother, I will still. We'll come back on here again and we'll do a launch conversation on that in the future.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that.
What about the sites where they can buy the books?
They can go uh right here in the United States. They can go to Amazon,
Okay.
or they can go to Barnes and Noble. Um, you can go to Barnes and Noble website, type in my name, Cornell F. Evans Jr. Both books will pop up, and you can go ahead and order it. Or you can go to Amazon, or you can Google both books and just decide whether you want to get it yourself. Is in 2,500 distributors around the globe. So wherever you are, wherever you are, you should be able to purchase it in your town.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was an honor and a pleasure to have no other than DMV boxing legend and author Cornell Evans. Appreciate you, brother. It was an honor and a
Appreciate you
pleasure
too,
to have you
Rashid.
on
Thanks
here,
a lot,
man.
man, for this platform, man. I
Man,
appreciate you, brother.
anytime, brother. So talk to you soon, man. I appreciate you as always, champ.
Always, man. Love you, man.
Love you too, brother. Peace and
Okay.
blessings.
Peace.
If you're looking for a way to power up your nutrients with a plant-based protein powder, then raw vegan plant-based protein is the perfect choice. This vegan protein is packed with essential nutrients to help you stay energized and healthy. With plant-based protein powder becoming increasingly popular amongst health-conscious individuals, it's no surprise that raw vegan plant-based proteins has become a leader in the industry. Whether you're an athlete or just looking to increase your daily protein intake, this vegan protein powder can help you reach your goals. Visit rawvegan.com. Again, rawvegan.com.